Hey guys, it's Ross Scott on the Space Coach. Today we're going to continue on with the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary. And here it is. I'm going to take a look at the Sith Fleet personnel. And there is their spread. There you see the officers, here the technicians. I really liked this design. I thought the red and the black worked really, really well, especially on the helmet. Although I was watching, it was either Critical Drinker or Mauler video about the Rise of Skywalker, and they were not impressed. But I was, and it's my opinion that matters on this channel. And yours too, of course. So let's see what it says about the Sith Fleet personnel. Coordinating the maiden flight of the Sith Fleet are crews of young officers and technicians who have trained their whole lives for this moment of triumph. The thousands of personnel from Exegol were raised as children of the Sith Eternal cultists, taught to revere the power of the dark side, even if they themselves could not harness it, and accept the brutal truth of existence that might for might's sake is the ultimate end. These are the times we live in. Though the First Order rank and file often speak of destiny, it is the Sith Eternal officers who have taken this philosophy deepest to heart, feeling the galaxy is theirs by cosmic right. Then there's a fact file, and we see Allegiant General Pride there with his little stick. He was really good in that role. It's a shame he couldn't have been in the others. He basically was like a Hux replacement. He's like original Hux from The Force Awakens, because obviously Hux was very badly treated in The Last Jedi. So what it says, the Sith Fleet rank structure is analogous to the First Order rank structure, both having been patterned after the old Imperial Navy. For his unswerving loyalty and decades of experience, Allegiant General Pride is placed in command of the launching of the fleet. The fleet launch is an enormously complex undertaking. Hundreds of Star Destroyers emerge in formation from their underground slips and rise through the ionised air of Exegol. Only upon reaching the clearer upper atmosphere can they safely leap past light speed. And here we see a couple of the officers, and these are the ones we see on the bridge of the ship that destroys Kijimi. So she is the captain. I think he's the first officer or a lieutenant. Let's just see. His name is Lieutenant Mylon Lenwith, and her name is Captain Chazil Sabrond. And her data file for Chazil Sabrond: homeworld Exegol, species human, affiliation Sith Eternal, height 1.62 metres, age 30 standard years. And what it says about the capital ship officers. Commissioned and warrant officers within the Sith Fleet wear sharp uniforms that make clear their Imperial Navy inspirations, but embellished by the stripes of vibrant red found elsewhere in the Sith Eternal livery. The First Order fleet was the strongest single military organisation in the demilitarised galaxy, but it was still but a fraction of the Imperial Starfleet at its height, which I think had 25,000 Star Destroyers, a dozen or so Super Star Destroyers, 2 Death Stars, and everything else. Right, where was I? Bolstered by the new ships and crew readied by the Sith Eternal, it now steps closer to that impressive might. Each Star Destroyer carries far greater firepower than the warships that gave Emperor Palpatine unrivaled galactic dominance a generation earlier. And if I recall correctly, in the Aftermath trilogy, about a quarter of the Imperial fleet was unaccounted for. So maybe a lot of those unaccounted for ships maybe got converted. Oh no, because they're the standard Imperial ones, whereas these ones are larger. I was going to say maybe they just bolted on the axial super laser. Now here we see the captain there on the bridge of her ship about to give an order. And that order, let's see. On the bridge of the Derefan, Captain Sabrond readies the axial superlaser to make an example of a world that has harboured the Resistance. The Derefan is the first of the new warships to be launched from Exegol into the galaxy at large, and the only one, I believe, that made it into the galaxy at large. And what happened to it, I wonder? It ruthlessly demonstrates the power of the reinforced First Order. And then the other page is about the fleet technicians. Like I said, I love this colour combination. I find it very, very attractive. The fascists always have the best uniforms, don't they? All the way back to the Nazis with Hugo Boss. So, the new warships of the Sith Eternal contain vast reserves of power that must be carefully balanced and managed by a crew of skilled technicians. Like the Imperial ships of the past, these new generation Star Destroyers contain a miniaturized sun within the solar ionization reactor that bulges from their ventral hulk. I'm pretty sure we saw inside the reactor in Star Wars Rebels when Kanan and Ezra killed the Grand Inquisitor. Who knows? Maybe that's something slightly different. This heavily shielded carbonite and durasteel lined chamber collects the energy output of the power core, distributing it to such intensive systems as hyperdrives and sublight propulsion. Typically, these systems step down the power output to safer levels, but the axial superlaser is a direct tap to the reactor. Should the technical crews that monitor the reactor make a miscalculation, the consequences would be dire. So the example here is Petty Officer Simero Quonit. So we see his bicep-mounted comlink here. I did try. I wonder how that worked, but he would just go like so, and so that does kind of work. Then he has the insulated work helmet, which obviously is this. Flame-resistant duty uniform. Like I think I said previously, it's just as well it's flame resistant because there were an awful lot of flames towards the end. Reinforced seam to keep out contaminants. So that's basically just his zip down the middle, which you can't really make out. Synth leather utility belt, which again, you can just about see a bit here, but it's along there. And what is this? Radiation tracker and anti-rad inoculation kit. And here we see the dagger shape symbolises an assassin's hidden blade, the symbol of the Sith Eternal. So what else does it say? Now just the helmet specifically, the particle scattering corrugated surface, which I don't know if you can see the lines on this. Lines like Captain Phasma has, but all across the top. I really hope they release this as a figure at some point, because like I said, I love that design, and the colour combination is great. Magnetic insulators and seal controls. Is that? And I think there's one more thing. Concealed air scrubber systems, which is basically the sides. You maybe see it a little bit better here. So kind of like, you know, like the cheeks of the First Order helmet and the Imperial Stormtrooper helmet. That's like the air scrubbers. So, about the technical helmet. Based on the flared helmet designs of old Imperial technicians and naval troopers, the technician's helmet is fully enclosed, filtering the air of industrial gases and blocking out harmful electromagnetic radiation. Status data is sent wirelessly to the helmet receivers and projected on the interior of the visor. And the data file on, what's his name, or her name, Simero Quonit, I think it's male, homeworld Exegol, species human, affiliation Sith Eternal, height 1.81 metres and age 29 standard years. So that is the spread for the Sith fleet personnel. There's another one for the Sith jet troopers, which we'll look at in due course, and also for the occupying forces on Kijimi, but we can't look at that until we've actually looked at the Kijimi spread and the spread for Kijimi City. But we will get around to those in due course. But for now, that is just a look at the Sith fleet personnel. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or suggestion for a topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.